But hold on, the Prime Minister was there?
The government facilitated it. But it was a negotiation between the company that was authorized by the courts to liquidate the property.
And the signing with Sanders was with whom?
Sorry?
The signing with Sanders last week was with whom?
Well, it's with the government. Because what happened, Bing, the Bokama situation was so messed up. I personally believe that no private individual could have sorted that out. There were 50 or 51 persons who own properties within the resort. There were the issue of the lands. There were the issue of the property being built on private. It was tremendously messed up. So no private individual, I believe, could have sorted that out. What the government did, the government got the permission of the trustees, went in, negotiated with all of those who have interest, including 51 persons in the United Kingdom who have interest in the resort, negotiated with all of them, acquired property where it was necessary, and consolidated, aggregated 40 acres of land. And that is what they're now selling to.
So, okay, so why didn't the government do the same thing with Kelly Glass?
Because they are allowing the court's process to take its course. It got to a stage where it is very obvious that the courts, that system, that liquidation system would not have worked. And so the government stepped in and did what they have to do.
Mr. Weeks, did Bernard Punnett ever sign a deed conveying the lands to anyone? And if so, can we get a copy of that or see a copy of that?
The hotel, part of the hotel was built on Bernard Punnett land. All of that is now sorted out.
Between who and Bernard?
Between the government and Bernard.
Okay, so the government bought the lands now from Bernard, and is the government selling it to Sanders or handing it over to Sanders?
The government acquired 40 acres of land and they're now selling it to Sanders.
So how the Rastaman not part of this consolidation? The Rastaman in there?
The Rastaman is part of the consolidation, Bing.
He is, but what he said something in an interview on Eyewitness News which is completely different.
What he said?
Anyway, we don't have the time. We're out of time now. I'm sorry.
Bing, I am told that all of those matters are being settled. The government has the authority to go in and acquire the land, and after acquisition, they will. You can have a tribunal set up to determine the price that the government pay, or the government can negotiate with the owners.
Just one last thing though, Mr. Weeks. Where is that signed document between Kelly Glass and the KPMG?
KPMG.
Yeah, where's that signed document?
I don't know, Bing. That was a private.
It's not a public document. It's a private document.
That was a private matter between two private individuals.
And you said the government only did what with regards to this?
The government facilitated the process.
Facilitated the process. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'll continue my investigation on this matter. Okay, Mr. Weeks, if you don't mind.
Yes, Bing, be advised and come back and let's discuss.
Advise? Okay then. Well, you too be advised and you can come back and give me some answers.
Thanks,
as well.
Bing.
You're welcome. Have yourself a great day. Have yourself a great day. It's after 8 o'clock.
The SPG TCCU Limited Supplies Outlet is your one-stop shop for all your offers.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now. Join the evolution.
Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling down.
to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company. Isn't it?
Representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now. Drawing the evolution.
Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling up, passing top.
Yo, well, you don't know now. This is the Super Dog, and guess who's back? Inside the Boom Drive 1069.
Yeah, man.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you.
No!
Hey!
Yo,
Jesus!
what did you just say there?
Let's go back to the talking now, people.
I want to know what this person just said on
Hey,
the...
Jesus!
Say that again. Say it again.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Turn up the thing, Pitbull.
Run style, bad man. Run style.
Boom 1069.
The Love Zone.
The best R&B jams, period.
Hear it on Boom 1069.
On point, dropping shade and setting the trends.
You drinking the haterade.
It's the Shade Room with Jill and DJ Shady. DJ on the Evolution Station. Boom 1069.
Stop the spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. Follow these simple steps. Remove all jewelry before washing hands. Wet hands using running water. Place liquid soap in hand. Circulate using rotational movements, interlace fingers, and repeat switching hands. Wash back of fingers, rotating them in the palms. Wash fingertips, rotating them in palms. Wash thumbs using rotational movements. Thoroughly wash hands down to the wrist. Rinse hands. Dry with clean tissue. Turn off tap using tissue. Use tissue to open door and discard in bin. A simple act can make a huge difference. Stop the spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. This is a message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment.
Yo, well, you done know now. This is the Super Dog, and guess who's back? Inside the Boom Drive, 1069.
Yeah, man.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you.
No!
Hey!
Yo,
Jesus!
what did you just say there?
Let's go back to the talking now, people.
I want to know what this person just said on
Hey,
the...
Jesus!
Say that again. Say it again.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Turn up the thing, people.
Run style, bad man. Run style.
Boom 1069.
Party, private party. Yes, inside the private party. I don't care who want to talk. Private party, private party. Yes, inside the private part, and I don't care who talk. I'm driving in me, riding in me, flying in me. Private party, I'm gliding in me, sliding in me, flow winding in me. Private party. Look in, fast, pocket, fast. When I push it, fast. Tell me again, look in, fast. Me pocket, fast. When I push it, fast. Yeah, only me to me back a man, bend it up, bend it up. Look at me to me back a man, bend it up, bend it up. Flesh you, only me to me back a man, fling it up, fling it up. Look at me to me back a man, fling it up, fling it up.
Up and up and up, up and up, up and up. When you see we, hands gone up and up, up and up, up and up. Everybody, hands gone up and up, up and up, up and up. When you see we, hands gone up and up, up and up, up and up. The press go fighting for this. Setting this one, all that we know. This will tear up for this. Setting this one, all that we know. I heard you want police. Mash up this one, all that we know. Boom, anywhere, anywhere new, anywhere, all that we go.
And do like that. Let me see you do like that. Big bike, you ride that. Let me see you do like that. Back then, do like that. Let me see you do like that. Big bike, you ride that. Let me see you do like that.
Take the walk, give me a jam. Pull on your waist, with me hand. It's 2 away, inside a band. It's orderly, that is the plan. Girl, I love your habit. I love your habit. Girl, I know you have it. I love your habit. Come here to drink. First, give me one, give me two, give me more. Rum, rum, I tell you, I come here to drink. The most, give me 3, give me 4, give me more. Rum, rum, we drinking all day. We drinking, nothing but driving Uber. We taking, we drinking all day. We drinking, nothing but driving Uber. We taking.
It could be water, it could be rum, rum, rum. It could be any sea, everything going down, down, down. It could be water, it could be rum, rum, rum. It could be any sea, everything going down. Cause the water's over me. And I'm bouncing through the water's over me. Now watch the girl and wine go down on the ground like down on the ground like I don't mean to be so rude, darling, but we don't really watch face. Now you have your purpose in drinking. We don't know how everything tastes. Well, you don't spy by the bar, we have it here by the case. So if your feelings are problem, well, tonight you will know your place. Waiting, tell them to put up passing. Send for the punch and bring on the back of day. There's plenty bottles lined up like on a range. We go do it just like the other day. We don't care what people say. It could be water, it could be rum, rum, rum. It could be anything, everything going down, down, down. It could be water, it could be rum, rum, rum. It could be anything, everything going down.
We serving you up the #1 morning show in SVG. OMG in the morning with the real Badman Bing, Daniel, and DJ Flex.
Real bad man.
Man, Flex, what's going on with you, man?
Real bad man.
Since you got this new girlfriend, boy, you're just on fire. Great music. Wow. You see what a woman will do for you? It changes your whole perspective.
I'll call Trees for you. You make Steven come and throw this entire thing across because he come and tell you he had a girlfriend.
But now he has a girlfriend, and you can tell the difference.
Trees, I hope you're listening.
Well done,
Steven is apparently the program director of the station.
Done. Yeah, yeah. But you know the best.
All you have to do is cuss people and tell them they had a girlfriend.
You know the song he enjoyed the most in that set?
Which one?
I see him carrying on. Fat. Fat.
All the meeting.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Flex, carrying on.
I've never seen you responding like that.
You know these skinny guys, huh? They like their girls with a lot of meat on them.
Hello.
Yeah, Flex. There's nothing wrong with that.
He's not referring to you because you're not a thin guy, so
I'm a sexy
he's not
guy.
talking about you.
No, you prefer that. You
said
you like your girls tick to you.
I never had it. I can't remember having a conversation with you.
I think we're bordering on some very dangerous
I can't remember having a conversation with Steven.
On the other hand,
the worst thing you could do with Steven, Steven is like a child. He can't help himself. I tell you everything.
Big told me that. He said, you and I will never have to compete because I know you like your girls slim.
Yeah, and then
I don't.
When did we have this conversation? Actually, I've heard that mentioned a couple times.
Numerous times. We had this conversation.
Correct.
Thing with these red men and they lie about certain things.
And the red woman too backing them up.
Apparently, right?
The red men, we lie about certain things. Guys, there's a story that I saw going around.
Oh, Lord. Ugly.
About this preacher.
It gets uglier, yeah. Eyewitness News has a preacher's crime the worst the judge has seen. Delroy Fraser, the rape of a girl between ages 5 and 7 by the assistant pastor of the church. Bing, here's my problem. I'm trying to weigh which is worse. Afika James being raped by her father and being defended by people, you know, nasty, horrible people who try to justify it and are friends with him. Horrible people, nasty, right? Scum. Anyway, or a preacher raping. How does it get much worse than this? A 4 or 5 year old child, a preacher. And it gets worse. Bing, we are talking about an upcoming election.
Before we get there, let's give the judgment in this case.
The judgment was excellent. Justice Cottle sentenced Fraser to 30 years in jail. Well done,
like life
Justice
sentence
Cottle.
for him.
Yeah, I hope that means 30 years, huh? Not 20, not 10, not 5, but 30 in jail.
Well, it's a life,
right? Life would be fine. I'd be fine.
I mean, when I read that story, I'm thinking.
And then I get to the last line.
The man who was trying to get this man off from jail time.
The last. You ready to hear who it is?
Let's go. Who's that?
Counsel Israel Bruce represented Delroy Fraser. So a gentleman who wants us to vote for him to go in our parliament, Big, is defending a man raping.
How old was this 5-year-old child?
5-year-old child. And he wants us to vote for him. You see the problem I have here? Where is your moral decency here? Now, I used to cuss because Ralph Gonsalves used to defend drug dealers. There's a slight difference with drug dealers that you can make a change on. A drug dealer is not a rapist of children. A drug dealer, what is legal today could become not illegal tomorrow. Or, sorry, vice versa. What's illegal today could become legal tomorrow. So while I don't condone it, I understand the argument. But I can't hear the argument. And I remember Kay Backus, I think, at one time also defended an alleged rapist too. At some point, guys, you could say all you like about a lawyer, but lawyers don't have to defend everybody that comes before them.
Correct.
It's real easy to say, I'm sorry, I can't take this case. It's real easy. And don't tell me you have to, because if they say you have to take the case, you know what you do? You say, okay, my fee's $1 million and I need it all up front. End of story. Right? So there are many ways to get around this. But you want to run for public office, Bing. You want to get into our parliament. And you are choosing, Bing, to represent a man, a priest, an alleged assistant priest, a pastor, somebody who think that we would look up to in our society. You are defending this man raping a 5-year-old child, and I must go and put my ex next to your name? You got to be out of your mind. Come on, I think the NDP needs to change that candidate. And Bruce Israel, you could get as vexed with me as you like. This is stupidness you're doing. Absolute stupidness. This is a man raping a 5-year-old child, and you knew. It wasn't a question that you didn't know it wasn't true. That wasn't the question here. The man never even got up on the stand to defend himself. and yet we must vote for this. You must be out of your mind, Big. I don't know who's running against him, but I definitely couldn't put my ex there, buddy. Sorry.
You know, you
This
said
is
something.
craziness.
You said something which answered the question for me, because you and I have spoken this topic so
A
many
million
times
times.
before. But you just said, because after we talk on this issue, the NDP defenders will come out.
They will defend now.
And say,
correct.
You know, you took an oath of law.
He's
He's a lawyer.
Yeah, the usual crap. Total crap.
But you just said charge $1 million.
Charge $1 million. You can get out of it real easy. You can do whatever you like. You can choose who you
I
want.
wonder if I wonder
practice.
if Grant Connell would take this issue.
Grant wouldn't accept this kind of case. I've never heard Grant trying to defend a rapist, an alleged rapist. I have never heard that.
But a child, we talking about a child here.
A 5-year-old child.
I mean,
Christ.
What
is your decency?
I want to know from Senator Israel Bruce.
He's a senator too. I forgot that. Even worse. Jesus Christ.
Senator
He's already
Israel
in
Bruce.
Parliament. Oh my God.
What were you trying to do, Senator? You were trying to get less years?
Yeah.
Or you were trying to get him released totally? To go back in society?
Yep.
And rape more children?
Rape more children, yep. Correct.
Just a point. Someone on the WhatsApp is... it's hard some days with WhatsApp, eh? But anyway, somebody on the WhatsApp is saying that the court assigns these cases to lawyers.
Yeah, but they can refuse.
So that's why I'm trying to understand.
I know
what's
of
the point.
lawyers who refused.
Yep.
So I'm trying to understand what's
No,
the point.
Here the mighty defenders again.
I
you know what I would do? I would be sick. If I was forced to do it, I'd be sick. I would be sick every day going into court. I would be sick every single day.
But I want to know if Israel
Sorry.
Bruce needs the money that bad, so he has to accept the case.
No, I don't understand this thing. It is beyond my comprehension. Maybe Israel Bruce could answer this question. We have a right. He needs to come out in public. He is a public figure. He is in our parliament. He should tell us why he accepted this.
He needs to answer
why he's
this.
defending this.
And I'm wondering, who should we whip this morning? Should we whip the preacher or should we whip the lawyer?
No, we have to whip. We have to whip
all of them.
We definitely whipping that preacher. He
the
got to
whip,
get it for
correct,
sure.
Correct.
No question about that.
What about the man who trying to get him out there to bring him back on?
Both of them, but you definitely have to whip that preacher.
But let's not also forget, because I don't want us to ever forget a big shot in our country, who's a big shot in a company in this country, who we buy products from. And he
definitely got to
can't even deny raping his own child. And yet, people like the Consul General in Canada, Fitz, who I'm waiting to sue me still, defends him and said, oh, that's my friend. We're waiting for the lawsuit still, Fitz. Still waiting.
Those of you calling, we can't take a call right now. We got to get into Jerry George. Let's take a quick break.
Sugar man.
You gone.
Sweet man. I heard he had a great weekend.
Maybe take a break. Come right back. We can just jump right to Jerry George right here at OMG in the morning.
Ease the squeeze this summer.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now. Drawing the evolution.
Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, trouble it up. Marvin talk.
Them know we have to take over.
Stop cock. I will say Boom 106.9, everything else to behind. You know what I mean? Radio Evolve. Tough represented, it's not even a friend thing. You're outside.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Stop talk and turn on the stop cock. I will say boom 1069, everything else they behind. You know what I mean? Radio Evolve. Tough represented, it's not even a friend thing. You're outside.
Okay.
We're getting cussed now because we're supporting the ULP. We're not supporting any party, Danny. Over.
But I just want to say, right? Oh, that's Jerry. So go ahead. I'll say it. Hopefully, I remember.
Morning, Jerry. Sorry about that. You didn't hear your intro because we haven't gotten around to doing it with the new voices yet, and we're changing over everything as you would have heard. Good morning. Is this Jerry? I hope.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, Jerry.
Morning, Daniel.
Morning.
How you doing? I'm still behind, but don't worry, we'll catch up.
I'm waiting.
Yeah,
what's going on there?
Don't get jealous, guys. Don't get jealous.
What's going on? She heard about the sugar. She heard about the sugar.
No,
I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that. Jerry, at least you can say Bing and Stevie good morning.
No, straight to Danny.
Yeah,
straight to
exactly. And then we come around too. Bing on Stevie first.
I would like to. I always like to go first before.
You like to put the right people on them first. So go ahead. I'm from the plantation, so you can put me last. I ain't coming the outside. I'm from the plantation, so put me last. That's what we got. We got this on the plantation, so we put me last. Go ahead.
Take care of you.
So guys, I hope you guys had a good weekend.
I had a great weekend. I really enjoyed the scent though of the pig farm in Annisville. That was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. That was a nice change of pace for me. Not used to that. Yeah, it was very nice.
Are you exhausted in this? Oh, this is
It is what it is, my friend. No? When are you gonna? It's not going to change. You know what's amazing, Jerry? We don't seem to understand wrong as wrong, no matter what party it is, versus right is right. You know, we don't seem to get that in this country. It's amazing, huh? It's only about party colours, you know. No matter
people
what.
defend whatever. It's amazing.
Yep, quite astonishing.
Sad though.
Yep,
but
sad.
people defend
and it's not. And the sad thing is, Jerry, it's not going to change. When you change, or if you change the government, then it's just another side. Huh?
No, it shouldn't be a government thing. It should be.
If you're going to change, Jerry, there's only one reason to change. You know, is just to get rid of them. And then next time we're going to get rid of them again. As I've always said, like St. Lucia, you know, to get rid of them every 5 years. It's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because clearly it makes no difference, does it? Doesn't seem to. Sorry.
Well,
Anyway.
speaking of which, identifying wrong, you want to go ahead and ask about what we were discussing before Jerry's call?
Which one was that? About the rape?
Yes.
Yeah, the pastor. Jerry Israel Bruce is a senator in our parliament, and he has chosen to defend a man who rapes a 5-year-old child. And I have a serious problem with that. Just as I used to have a serious problem with supporting Ralph because he was defending criminals too. Although this one is a new law. This is far beyond what Ralph Gonsalves or anybody else that I'm aware of. No, you're in public office, you want to get elected. You're currently in our parliament as a senator, and you are defending a man who rapes a 5-year-old child.
Well, let's look at this narrow speaking. First of all, the system says you're innocent until you're proven guilty.
Yep.
And everybody is entitled to some defense.
Absolutely correct. Everybody is.
I guess it comes down to your saying, as an individual, when you look at a case like this, would I take it?
Correct.
And I guess I'm with you in that corner.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think I can completely say that, what's his name again? Mr. Bruce is completely out. I mean, the oath he took requires him to do that.
The oath he took doesn't require him to defend a 5-year-old. Not when he's trying. You see, Jerry, I want the distinction between you wanting to serve in public. If Grant defends a rapist or whatever, I have no problem with that. But if you want him to serve in our parliament, then I have an issue with that. That's the issue.
I get you. I fully understand. Stephen, I get you. And you see what this business of children, I really have a 0 minus 0 plus 0 tolerance for that whole thing. Yeah. And then when I read the case, the man even realized he was guilty. He never presented himself as his own defense, really. Yep. No witnesses, nothing. But it is sad. What I'm sad about is the fact that this man claims to be a pastor. And I mean, this is a black eye in the face of the church, but you see that is the problem. We have too many people jumping into these positions as pastors and stuff, almost overnight. And I don't know if it is that they don't realize the gravity of what they're dealing with. But a 5 to 7 year old? My first thing about that is, where do you get pleasure in something like that, Stephen?
Yep.
You're a man of much experience.
Yeah.
I mean, how? That is what I have a huge issue with. How does a person, that is depravity. It's not a sickness, depravity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And as a child got older, you went deeper and deeper into the waters. Oh God, no. Listen, let me talk about something else, huh? So them things will get me real angry. Really angry. But I understand your concerns, people. I understand it.
But you're neither here nor there on how you...
No, personally I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
If I were in his position, I wouldn't. But who am I to say that I should make that same judgment for him? And again, he is a political representative. He must understand the risk that he bears when he does something like that. So I know I ain't touching that.
Yeah.
I'm not touching. I cannot go in court and stand up in your defense or something like that. I cannot do it. I simply cannot do it. But I can't say that he must not do it, because the laws of the court system allows him to do it. It comes down to him determining whether he could bear the political risk. And it comes back again, as I said to you guys earlier. Does things like this really resonate in our society? And sadly, I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right, Jerry. You're absolutely right. On that, you're right. Nobody cares. So it's not going to make any difference.
Okay, well, I'm one of those who care.
Yeah, well...
You're one of those who care.
But we're a very small number. We're a very small number. Look at people who still want to be friends and brag and boast. Go on social media and brag and boast that they are Afika James's father's buddies and friends, and they're proud of it.
But that's different.
I mean, is it any worse than this?
Nobody's trying to get Afika James's father
elected.
Elected.
Oh, that's a good point. Good point.
I think it's a very bad move to defend somebody who does something like
that. But
this.
they don't care. Yeah, sorry guys if I'm seeing here and there, because I'm not feeling well, okay? So if you find I'm moving away when I'm not feeling too well. But these people do not care.
Yeah, you're right.
Senator Bruce Israel Bruce do not care. Yep, and so too is Senator Israel Baptiste. What's her name? Kip. Sorry, I'm not well. I'm not feeling. Because we spoke, the public had spoke on these issues several times before.
Yep.
Several times.
Not the first time. Not the first time.
You cannot be in Parliament, making laws, passing laws to protect our children. These laws that are on the books were passed in the House of Parliament. And you turn back and you're trying to defend these people?
Yep. It's astonishing.
I don't care who it is. I do not care who it is.
Yeah,
it is wrong.
I get you, and I get the point of passing the laws. But within the context of passing the laws, as I said, there is a provision within the law for the person to be defended. That is also part of the
That's
law.
why we on a soul.
No, but yes, as I said to you, I cannot do it. I will not be able to do it.
Yeah.
That's why.
How is Israel Bruce going to say to a mother
vote for me
in South Central Wynwood who've been traumatized by a situation like this? I want you to vote for me.
Because I was just doing my job. That's kind of a hell of an argument to make.
What was Israel Bruce's objective here with this particular
He's on a business.
Business? Well, don't be a politician. Don't be a senator.
Correct. That's my argument.
Do not be a senator in the House of Parliament.
Yep. That's correct. That's my argument. Do your job,
I'd like to hear,
but sometimes you have to make choices.
His position on it, as I say. I'd like to hear his position on it. But again, it says to people who want to step up to that plate that there are certain risks that you can take that could affect you politically.
In an election year, Jerry?
Mm-hmm.
We're months away from an election? You taking risk?
Well, it's just that this case comes up now, because I'm sure this case...
So if it comes up again, Parliament is misparoled, you're going to do it still if another one comes up?
Well, what I'm saying is that the case would have been along the way. It just so happened that this is the time because...
But Jerry, that's a good point, you know. Because what would have happened if let's assume they had won the election and he was a member of Parliament and the case had come up after that. What do you think would have happened then?
I think he'd have handed the case to somebody else.
So he could have handed the case to somebody else? No. Yep. Thank you, sir.
I thought about what I said before I said that, because I know that I felt like you sharp.
Yeah. Wow. Jerry, I have good news.
Talk to us.
China are going to lend $1 billion to Latin America and the Caribbean to buy COVID vaccine when it becomes available. Isn't that wonderful news?
I saw it.
I thought that was amazing. So the place where the COVID first started and started to spread, the place that allowed planes to keep flying to international destinations but not to China, now want to lend you money to buy the COVID vaccine. Not give you, lend you money. And what a boy, wow. This China thing, boy, what a country.
The discussion that we having, it's a business. There might be a morality side to it for you, but for them it's a business.
Oh, yep, correct.
It's
but
a
boy,
business.
you do wonder at some point, though, Jerry, about where humanity comes into all of this business.
No, you're dead right about that, man.
That was an amazing. When I read that, I thought, wow, that's incredible.
I have that thing on my thing since last week, and I haven't got the guts to come around and deal with it, because to me it's like, what?
Yeah.
Look at the amount, and again, it goes to what I was saying since last week. They lend you the kind of money you cannot repay.
Yep, correct. Yep, lend you money you can't pay back and then come to you later.
And come to you later.
Well, if NDP wins,
I was just going to say,
If the NDP wins, we could get COVID vaccine.
Listen, boy.
At the cost.
At the cost, yes. Wow.
But don't just go that way, because right now we have had testing coming to us out of China.
Yep.
That came via Venezuela. Don't forget that.
Wow. Repeat that again.
Don't forget that. We've had testing coming to us, particularly rapid test kits, that came to St. Vincent from Trinidad via Venezuela. So it's not that we weren't clear.
But it's all from China, so it's all good.
Yes, it's all from China. You get it.
It's all good.
But let's go to the story about the whole quarantine issue.
Yes.
You guys discussed that at all?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And Jerry, my basic position was that if you change the rules at the last minute, then you should pay. But it's not fair. It's not fair to people who already booked flights and prepared to come here to change the rules at the last minute and then expect them to pay. I don't think that's right.
If you give a window of 2-3 weeks, that says to people, listen to me.
Yes.
If you're going to travel to St. Vincent, this is your requirement. Then people have to determine whether or not they want to travel, because they know that is it. But the person cannot have left the United States of America without this knowledge. And But we have moved from protocols that call for one-day quarantine. I remember that? Remember for that? The protocols that now said, hey, you come here now, you're paying for your own quarantine. And we will send you where we want you to go, and you will pay what you're told. Now, my next question is, if the people cannot afford, let us suppose they eke out the money to pay for their stay. How do they eat?
Yep.
Do they call friends and family to come trooping down to the hotel different times to give them food? How do you manage that?
Yeah.
No, I go to Dominica. Dominica had taken some of the halls that belonged to the Ross University. They picked them up, and they said these are the quarantine points. So when you come from the airport, they take you there.
Yeah.
Now people complain that it was not to the best quality. We could get that. And the government provided caterers who catered and brought the food and left it in an isolated room for people to go and get
themselves. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah. That to me makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense. But you cannot just ask people out of the blue. Listen, the mismanagement that has happened with this thing has just gone too far.
Yep.
And part of it is because we never really got firm about managing the whole question of personal quarantine.
Yeah.
We were never firm on that. So now that we're in this situation where we see in every plane that comes in brings positive, we're starting to panic. What do we do? Because the last flight we heard that people came in and the same night they were out.
Yeah.
We're the ones to take responsibility. We didn't do a good job of that. But because we didn't, and there's a failure of the management system, we're asking this lot of people to pay the price for it. No, it's not right.
I don't think that's right either, Jerry. Jerry, did you hear any results from the flight that came in on Saturday from Miami?
No, I've heard a single thing.
Okay.
And I don't know if it is that they are just... Because if there was none, they should have said there were none. Because in each of the other flight cases, by now we would have known.
Yeah. I'm hearing some strange stories, Jerry, which I don't know if they're true or not, but it's interesting where people are testing negative here and then testing positive with Trinidad and vice versa. Have you heard those kind of stories? And vice versa, so it's not just a one with...
And vice versa, yes. It has all been question mark. People call the PCR test the gold standard.
Yes.
But I think the PCR test has a 60%, I'm trying to remember what it is, around 60% accuracy. So that's quite possible. Or it could be a situation that you may test here and be negative, but because it is a progressive disease,
yes,
by the time you get to that next point, you are positive. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is, and folks, let me say this, in Europe, they have been going back into lockdown. The exports in the United States are calling for the whole United States to go into a lockdown.
Yeah.
None of us like that. But you know what? If we don't manage this thing properly, I'm afraid that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
But we don't do like Grenada. What Grenada attempted to do was to make a state of emergency a permanent thing, with some draconian kinds of laws in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that myself, huh?
No, but the people of Grenada kicked France, and the government was supposed to have tabled the bill on Wednesday, and they backed out of that one so fast.
Yeah.
$25,000 for infraction of 6 months. I mean, the kind of things were crazy.
Yep.
And the reach which they gave the state and the police was outrageous. You know? But as I say, I'm glad that the society in Grenada didn't take it lying down. And before the government even got a chance to go to Parliament for it, they backed out of the case because they were going to lose. They were going to create such a hue and cry. I don't think they wanted that. And mark you, the government in Jamaica, in Grenada, has all of the seats in Parliament. If that was in Vincent,
that's true.
People won't be making a noise because them support the government.
Yeah.
Guys, I have some messages here. I know you have to leave shortly,
Yeah, I have to run
Stephen.
in a minute.
This person is saying, good morning to the team. Why didn't the system organize to fit in cheaper spots for those kinds, even guest houses?
I don't know which hotels they organize, so I can't really
And
comment
this
on
hotel
that.
issue is looking hold on, Jerry, let me finish the question. This hotel issue is looking politically motivated according to the area selected to quarantine the persons. Go ahead.
Yeah,
you have the list.
The hotels are Blue Lagoon, Mariners Inn, Sunset Shores, and Beachcombers. Those are the hotels that are for.
Yeah. Well, those are decent hotels, all of them, I believe.
No, they are, and I agree that they're decent hotels, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess what the person is saying is a question of a bidder.
Yeah.
To me, it's not affordability or availability. It is that the principle is wrong. If even you're going to charge me $5 and you didn't tell me so before, the principle is wrong.
Yeah.
But you're saying moving forward, once people have advance notice, you think
Absolutely.
it's fair for them to have to incur the charge?
Because you can make an informed decision. Whether you want to come or not, because you know what the cost is.
If you can't afford it,
if you can't afford it, you don't come. So.
Like everything else, if you can't afford the flight,
yeah.
because American Airlines up their flight from $600 to almost $900.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Just so.
Jerry, so is that the last American Airlines flight for a while, or do we know? Because I haven't heard anything else really.
No, we haven't heard anything else either.
They were
saying that they might, or they were going to cancel them or whatever. So I didn't fly for that reason because I thought they were going to cancel them. So I didn't want to take that risk. I couldn't get back in. So.
Well, I haven't heard anything. What about the Canadian flight? Did they come?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
The Canadian flight came.
No, Air Canada's flight can come. Yeah. Air Canada does not have the situation that Florida does.
No, but they came. The flight came. The last flight that was due to come.
Repeat that.
No, I'm asking if the last flight that was due to come, if it came.
If the last one came, that's the one that you...
Yeah, the American one?
No, Air Canada.
Yeah, Air Canada did come on Thursday because I told you I got off a plane from Mustique, Jerry. And instead of going through the domestic area, they sent me up where the Air Canada people to come through that area, the international flight area, which I thought was really, somebody screwed up there big time.
No, but why they mixing you up?
I don't know who did this or whose decision that was to do. But we were blocked. We were blocked from going through the domestic area, and we had to go through the international area when the Canada people were there coming off the plane.
But when you come off the plane, that means you get exposure.
Somebody screwed up
something. Coming through the domestic thing means that you are in this bubble. And in this bubble, you can't sit.
Yeah, I just thought somebody seriously screwed up there. I don't know who it was. And I suspect it's a relatively junior person.
Well,
I can't imagine a senior person saying, this is a great idea, guys, let's send them up by
No, but at this time, you cannot leave such important decisions to junior people.
Yeah,
you could get them good, but somebody has to manage them.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll fix that and it won't happen again.
Yeah.
Well, we hope.
Well, folks, straight up. I got
Sorry, take care, buddy. Look after yourself.
Nice.
All right, man.
Yeah, okay. And Bing, get well.
Oh, he
skipped out. He stepped out to rest a little bit. He's not clear his head.
Sort out his
okay, no problem.
All right, Jeremy,
Danny,
have a good day.
Have a great day, Danny. I've got to run.
Yeah, and I'm not
You
seeing.
take care of yourself.
It's a lot of different stuff behind.
He's messed it up now.
Yeah.
Bing left you in a whole lot of trouble there. Huh? What you gonna do?
I don't know.
Well, maybe you'll have to let Flex play some good music again.
So now you guys are leaving me to take all the licks, the trouble you guys started.
Correct. You could take the phone
same
calls
with
and the
ULP
WhatsApps.
people, and with this and that, and we don't. What is all of these?
Take your licks, woman. Take your licks.
Take my licks like a woman or a man. Which one should I?
Well, you know something? The same people who are busy abusing Mr. Weeks for defending his party and his position now want to abuse us because we dare to say what we think is right and wrong. So you have to wonder, you really ask yourself, boy, is it better the devil I know or the devil I don't? You really have to, sometimes you just shake your head. You say, oh my goodness, what next?
You can't please everyone, right? So
you
never will.
No,
so
you can't. You're right. You're absolutely right.
You just pick your battles and go forward. And
yeah, but you would think they would try and make an effort to be a little bit better, wouldn't you?
Well,
maybe they can't. Maybe they can't. It's a sickness, when you're on one side, you have your team and you can't change your team no matter what. But I keep arguing that all the time.
Regardless of whatever party you support,
you should understand.
You're supposed to be able to look at things and say, all right, no, this is not a good move.
I came in here, Danny, and I read. We had this conversation where I read an article about why it is so hard for people to change their minds. It's almost impossible for most people to change their minds. They will find any way to defend and support and justify, and it's on both sides, and it's really sad because it's really hard to develop a country like that. Really hard. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of your day. I have to run. Hopefully you'll figure out what the hell is going on.
I still don't know. I'm gonna take one of these calls.
Flex, buddy, take good care. Huh?
I know this person is probably calling for me. Oh no, see, I'm already doing wrong things. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
Morning.
And good morning, my brother, and greetings to Mr. Bing. I know he stepped out, but I wanted to catch you, Mr. Joachim, because
he just stepped out as well.
Oh, no, okay. Well, okay, I can speak to you, my sister. That guy, Mr. Joachim, is really one of the most credible person you have on the areas on a lot of topics. Credibility put also to your brother, Jerry George. Credibility means that they've been basically researching and they're not just speaking partisan or they're just speaking off the head. But obviously, sometimes they don't get it right. I make sure that when I call, and so we need to just clarify something here. The protocols have nothing to do with the Ministry of Health or any particular ministry or any particular government or politicians. It has to do with the World Health Organization, with a novel virus. We need to get it because we have a lot of audience of they don't understand that. It's a novel virus, a new virus. It's not chickenpox. So obviously you're going to have all different doctors going their way, which they have not done the research. So we depend on the scientists. So any kind of protocols that you hear speaking about, like for example, why quarantine? You can't have a one-day quarantine. It's stupid. It's dangerous. You need a 14-day quarantine, and that was explained. And so you have these two tests, the rapid test. That rapid test basically is around 40% accurate. The PCR is not 50%, Jerry. It's around 80%. It's a very, very good test because you're literally splitting the RNA and DNA. I wouldn't go too far than that. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I have a working understanding of what is RNA and DNA. And so it splits it up. It's one of the best tests you could have right now. But even that itself. And so somebody coming from America with a certificate, oh, I did a test in New York. I'm positive. I'm negative. Literally, so many things could happen an hour after. And even when you do the test, my sister, it is not accurate. And so in order to make sure you safeguard your very nations and your citizens, that 14-day test must be adhered to at all times. Any nation, as you see, who violates that, literally have violated the very people's safety. The other thing, my sister, that we're speaking about is like, we're speaking about, well, you could pay this and pay that. My sister, the rich, they're basically now in middle class and post status. And so what has happened is that this coronavirus has taken out the money out of government. We are seeing unemployment level in very, very dangerous levels. In America, 16%. In Sweden, 9%. We are seeing Israel, 20%. Ask yourself, Sid Winston, what is our unemployment rate? These Vincentians are cash strapped. The very government themselves are cash strapped. And so all these magnanimous amounts of money, these high fee rates and so on, literally is unacceptable. And I'm saying who really, my sister, when we come in these airways, who really speaking for the poor? I am only saying it is unacceptable. So what I'm saying, let us follow the World Health Organization protocol, not the protocol of Hamilton, not the protocol of Bin, not the protocol of Jerry John, not the protocol of the Ministry of Health. And that is why you have the safest country in the world right now is Sink It. Because their leader is saying, I am not going to...
The safest place to Sink It, Mr. Hamilton. Where did you get that information?
Oh, God, I send documents to you to show you why. Okay. I'm going to send another one to you to show you why. You know why? You know why I think it's safe? Because Timothy Harris is saying, we don't know about the virus. We have to work with the World Health Organization. My ministry is going to work with the World Health Organization. And any nation that works, like for example, let me get another safe country. Taiwan. I can't say St. Lucia anymore because St. Lucia been doing the right thing, they're going to do the wrong thing. Dominica been adhering to it, they're going to do the wrong thing. St. Vincent been doing the wrong thing. Antigua been doing the wrong thing. New York been doing the right thing, and you're seeing the curve. They're coming down now 2%, 2,000 infection a day. Others are like 18,000. I'm saying the right thing is to follow the scientists. Ask Dr. Murray. Bring him on here and he'll tell you that. Bring on Dr. Robertson. And I'm only saying, my sister, watch America. Why America? Because Donald Trump believes he owns his plantation. My sister, we have people's lives are at stake in these countries. When we have leaders who want to play politics, we have to get them out. If it's an NDP government, get them out. If it's an ULP government, get them out. And I am saying my call right now to Vincentian is to demand that those people who paid with our taxpayers' money keep us safe. I don't know if I make sense. Maybe sometimes the passion song, maybe drives people away.
Yeah, Mr. Hamilton, calm down. But we understand that you're passionate.
And I'm saying, you just asked me just about thinking. I'm going to send a document to you.
Yes.
A recent one. Why this Timothy Harris is not going to bring in America.
All right. So we'll check it out. Okay. Thanks for your call, Mr. Hamilton.
Have yourself a wonderful week, everybody.
All right. All right, gonna do this real quick. It's 9 o'clock and this is OMG in the morning, keeping you going on till 10 a.m. Don't forget, still to come is Dr. Richards. He's gonna close off the morning with us, so don't you go anywhere.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now. Drawing the evolution.
Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, somebody dump.
You know we are fit take over.
We miss you too. We miss you too, girl. I miss you too. Make you never come and look for me out of my boo. Hold on. Wait no more.
You fat boy, done there. You depend some real bad man thing for the radio there and show me it's a bomb. Wild bad no bomb.
Boy, Pitbull, boy, I mash up the place and I'm on fire. Boy, my radio been dead on for months and my brother. And since me they hold it today, watch your life, me brother. You mashing up the place, me have to come home and plug up my radio. A big fire, me brother. I want it done on me brother. I want hard fire, man.
You want some fire, man? Hold on,
You people just have the radio, they do.
Make sure the capacitor big enough. It's true. We broke a record today. Millennium Kid, we broke a record today.
Yeah, come on, man.
We peaked at 575 viewers. Not even in my 10 lifetime I ever get that.
Listen.
Huh? Yeah, it's on, it's on.
And it's less than an hour, eh?
It was less than an hour. Less than an hour, yeah.
Less than an hour.
Big up to the viewers. The viewers.
Big up all yourself.
Yeah, man, the viewers.
Yeah, big up everybody.
You guys have energy.
Boom 1069.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
On point, dropping shade and setting the trends.
You drinking the haterade.
It's the Shade Room with Jill and DJ Shady. DJ on the Evolution Station. Boom 1069.
The Love Zone.
The best R&B jams, period.
Hear it on Boom 1069.
So the reason why we in healthcare use this mask, the N95 mask, is because we have a prolonged contact and continuous contact with the ill. A prolonged contact is considered within 1 meter of the patient and for more than 15 minutes. And you know, healthcare workers, we would have to keep doing this. Also, we'll be doing aerosolized procedures. You may have to nebulize someone, so we need a little bit more protection. And that's why we use the N95 mask. While caring for someone at home, always remember, even though you're using this mask, that your contact should really be minimal. And it does protect you in the case of corona because the virus is quite big and very unlikely to pass to and from this mask. And that's why the patient would wear it and the person providing care will wear it.
Welcome back, Pitbull. I miss you.
We miss you too. We miss you too, girl. I miss you too. Make you never come and look for me out of my boo. Hold on. Wait no more.
You fat boy, done there. You depend some real bad man thing for the radio there and show me it's a bomb. Wild bad no bomb.
Boy, Pitbull, boy, I mash up the place and I'm on fire. Boy, my radio been dead on for months and my brother. And since me they hold it today, watch your life, me brother. You mashing up the place, me have to come home and plug up my radio. A big fire, me brother. I want it done on me brother. I want hard fire, man.
You want some fire, man? Hold on,
You people just have the radio, they do.
Make sure the capacitor big enough. It's true. We broke a record today. Millennium Kid, we broke a record today.
Yeah, come on, man.
We peaked at 575 viewers. Not even in my 10 lifetime I ever get that.
Listen.
Huh? Yeah, it's on, it's on.
And it's less than an hour, eh?
It was less than an hour. Less than an hour, yeah.
Less than an hour.
Big up to the viewers. The viewers.
Big up all yourself.
Yeah, man, the viewers.
Yeah, big up everybody.
You guys have energy.
Boom 1069.
See, somebody here saying, Steven, you keep asking for your gun papers and other uncomfortable questions. Just keep pushing the tough issues. All right, let me go to some of the cuss out messages we got. So where are they? Somebody says, is it me or does it appear like lawyers who are on the opposition side are usually connected to these high-profile cases so much more than we can see the lawyers who are associated with the ULP? Let me take this call. Hello, good morning.
Special good morning to you, Danny.
Morning, morning.
Danny, just give me a few minutes to express an observation that I made listening to Boom FM, right?
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy morning radio. If you don't know me, I'm a radio enthusiast. I like listening to radio.
Oh, I realize.
Right. When Bing is not there, some people think a void is missing, right? But when Bing was absent for some time, and you heard the force quite well, and I listened to the program deliberately when you were on the program. And whenever the time comes for Mr. Weeks, you always used to say Mr. Weeks is coming, and you used to say his name with a passion. And I describe that aspect as the bold and beautiful on the radio.
Bold and beautiful on the radio?
Right. I get the impression that you used to like having Mr. Weeks. I get the impression that you defend him because one time I made a statement that, and you almost jumped to the window. But I was making a statement that I'm impressed the way Mr. Weeks handled himself because he's quite experienced and he has a lot of knowledge that people could learn from. And while I agree that he is the ULP gatekeeper, Jerry, who speaks on morning radio at Boone, appears to be anti-ULP. Some people might say he's the NDP gatekeeper. I got this morning listening to Boom when Mr. Weeks calling that you stayed relatively quiet in the background. I was a bit disturbed because I heard you said last week in your word that Mr. Weeks made a statement that offended you. I didn't pick it up. I didn't say it did not happen, but I didn't pick it up. And it was quite obvious this morning that you stayed absolutely quiet while Mr. Weeks was making his contribution. And could I ask you why, Daniel?
Because I didn't have any questions for Mr. Weeks today.
Wow. I mean, I don't have any reason to doubt you, but I definitely don't believe you. Because the reason why I say so is that when Ben was not there, you always excited to go on Mr. Weeks, and for some reason, I don't know where the controversy came from last week, but I noticed this morning that you were absolutely quiet, and I was a bit disturbed because I like listening to the interaction on mornings. And like I said, Mr. Weeks is not my favorite person, but beside that, he brings a wealth of experience, knowledge, and he does well defending the ULP as the gatekeeper. So I'm hoping, Daniel, that if I'm making an addition and I'm wrong, I hope that you will take my apology and try to be a little bit more interactive because I like the flow between you and Mr. Weeks and morning. Have a great day, Daniel.
Thank you. All right, number to call is 45. Hello, good morning.
Morning, how is the fabulous Daniel Vale doing today?
How are you doing? You good?
I'm good. Always good to speak to you.
What's your contribution this morning?
Yes, so earlier they were talking about the NDP candidate representing the pastor. Now, back in the 90s, right, before the Prime Minister came to power, at a town hall meeting in Brooklyn, the late Soka Jones said to the then opposition leader or opposition consul, he said, I have a problem with you trying to vie to be the Prime Minister and you representing all kind of criminals. And this is what Gonsalves said to him. If you rape my mother or my sister, don't expect me to represent you. Other than that, everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So my thing is, if they want to represent Baptiste and Bruce want to represent, that's quite okay with me. You represent them.
Because of what the Prime Minister said?
No, that's their job. That's their job to represent people. People are innocent and proven guilty. Right? You're innocent and proven guilty. He could represent who you want. Now, if you don't want, let's say you're an NDC supporter and you don't want Bruce and Baptiste to represent criminals, the best thing that you could do election time is to vote for them. When you vote for them, they'll get elected in Parliament. They won't be representing any criminals no more. That's how I look at it.
So go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, would you feel the same way if this were a ULP person?
What?
If the lawyer representing this pastor was a ULP person, was a ULP representative?
That's their job to represent. That's their job to defend somebody. So if you want to hold it against them and don't vote for them, you have every right to do it. Look, Gonsalves represent people and he represents all kind of criminals, and people continue to vote for him. He was accused of committing crimes, and people still continue to vote for him. That's people's right. You vote for who you want to vote. If you don't, if that upsets you, don't vote for them. But I'm sure there are many people who are going to still vote for them despite that. And as I say again, the best way, if you want them not to represent anybody, is to vote for them to get elected in power, and so they won't be able to represent any more criminals. Thank you, bye.
All right, have a good day. Thanks for your contribution. There was a message that I wanted to read, not seeing it. All right, somebody here said lawyers had to defend serial killers and serial rapists. Is it better for Israel Bruce to do it or some young innocent lawyer to have their reputation tarnished because the older lawyers avoided the case? So someone has to. Will he force it upon a young lawyer, scar them and possibly destroy their future? How come nobody is asking which church it is? All right. Interesting comment there. We still got so much more coming your way. Remember, this is OMG in the morning. Bing is not feeling well. I just want to apologize on his behalf. He's going to get himself checked out so that hopefully he can return to us tomorrow morning feeling refreshed and feeling 100%. All right, we got to be understanding of that. So Bing, if you're listening, we hope that you feel well. Calm down, buddy. All right, calm down. Make sure you walk with your insulin from now on. All right, still more to come your way. It's OMG in the morning on a Monday.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now. Drawing the evolution.
Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling down, half in top.
Them know we have to take over. Yo, well, it done know now. This is the Super Dog, and guess who's back? Inside the Boom Drive 1069.
Yeah, man.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you.
No!
Hey!
Jesus! What did you just say there?
Let's go back to the talking now, people.
I want to know what this person just said on the...
Jesus!
Say that again. Say it again.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Turn up the thing, Pitbull.
Run style, bad man. Run style.
Boom 1069.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
The spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. Follow these simple steps. Remove all jewelry before washing hands. Wet hands using running water. Place liquid soap in hand. Circulate using rotational movements, interlace fingers, and repeat switching hands. Wash back of fingers, rotating them in the palms. Wash fingertips, rotating them in palms. Wash thumbs using rotational movements. Thoroughly wash hands down to the wrist. Rinse hands. Dry with clean tissue. Turn off tap using tissue. Use tissue to open door and discard in bin. A simple act can make a huge difference. Stop the spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. This is a message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment.
The Love Zone.
The best R&B jams, period.
Hear it on Boom 1069.
On point, dropping shade and setting the trends.
You drinking the haterade.
It's the Shade Room with Jill and DJ Shady. DJ on the Evolution Station. Boom 1069.
Yo, well, it done know now. This is the Super Dog, and guess who's back? Inside the Boom Drive 1069.
Yeah, man.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you.
No!
Hey!
Jesus! What did you just say there?
Let's go back to the talking now, people.
I want to know what this person just said on the...
Jesus!
Say that again. Say it again.
You could never fire the best DJ and expect people to listen to you. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Turn up the thing, Pitbull.
Run style, bad man. Run style.
Boom 1069.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now. Drawing the evolution.
Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling down.
Welcome back, Pitbull. I miss you.
We miss you too. We miss you too, girl. I miss you too. Make you never come and look for me out of my boo. Hold on. Wait now, man.
Yo, fat boy, done there, no? In the punch some real bad man thing for the ready day and show me it's a bomb. Wild bad, no bomb.
Boy, Pitbull, boy, I mash up the place, and man, fire. Boy, my radio been dead on for months, and my brother. And since me they hold it today, watch your life, me brother. You mashing up the place, me have to come home and plug up my radio. A big fire, me brother. I want it done on me brother. I want hard fire, man.
You want some fire, man? Hold on, eh?
You people just have the radio, they do.
Make sure the capacitor big enough. Boy. It's true. No. We broke a record today. Millennium Kid, we broke a record today.
Yeah, come on, man.
We peaked at 575 viewers. Not even in my 10 lifetime I ever get that.
Listen.
Huh? Yeah, it's on, it's on.
And it's less than an hour, eh?
It was less than an hour. Less than an hour, yeah.
Less than an hour.
Big up to the viewers. The viewers.
Big up all the selling.
Yeah, man, the viewers.
Yeah, big up
you guys have energy.
Boom 1069.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
The spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. Follow these simple steps. Remove all jewelry before washing hands. Wet hands using running water. Place liquid soap in hand. Circulate using rotational movements, interlace fingers, and repeat switching hands. Wash back of fingers, rotating them in the palms. Wash fingertips, rotating them in palms. Wash thumbs using rotational movements. Thoroughly wash hands down to the wrists. Rinse hands. Dry with clean tissue. Turn off tap using tissue. Use tissue to open door and discard in bin. A simple act can make a huge difference. Stop the spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. This is a message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment.
As a doctor and first responder in the fight against COVID-19, we use the N95 mask to protect ourselves and our patients. We are therefore asking you, the public, not to use or abuse the N95 mask. They are exclusively for medical and nursing personnel. Help us to save you and to save ourselves.
So the reason why we in healthcare use this mask, the N95 mask, is because we have a prolonged contact and continuous contact with the ill. A prolonged contact is considered within 1 meter of the patient and for more than 15 minutes. And you know, healthcare workers, we would have to keep doing this. Also, we'll be doing aerosolized procedures. You may have to nebulize someone, so we need a little bit more protection, and that's why we use the N95 mask. While caring for someone at home, always remember, even though you're using this mask, that your contact should really be minimal. And it does protect you in the case of corona because the virus is quite big and very unlikely to pass to and from this mask. And that's why the patient would wear it and the person providing care will wear it.
Welcome back, Pitbull. I miss you.
We miss you too. We miss you too, girl. I miss you too. Make you never come and look for me out of my boo. Hold on. Wait now, man.
Yo, fat boy, done there, no? In the punch from red, bad man thing for the red, and show me it's a bomb. Wild man, no bomb.
Boy, Pitbull, boy, I mash up the place, and man, fire. Boy, my radio been dead on for months, and my brother. And since me they hold it today, watch your life, me brother. You mashing up the place, me have to come home and plug up my radio. A big fire, me brother. I want it done on me brother. I want hard fire, man.
You want some fire, man? Hold on, eh?
You people just have the radio, they do.
Make sure the capacitor big enough. Boy. It's true. No. We broke a record today. Millennium Kid, we broke a record today.
Yeah, come on, man.
We peaked at 575 viewers. Not even in my 10 lifetime I ever get that.
Listen.
Huh? Yeah, it's on.
And it's less than an hour, eh?
It was less than an hour. Less than an hour, yeah.
Less than an hour.
Big up to the viewers. The viewers.
Big up all the selling.
Yeah, man, the viewers.
Yeah, big up everybody.
You guys have energy.
Boom 1069.
Voice stop talk and turn on the stop cock. I will say boom 1069, everything else they behind. You know what I mean? Radio Evolve. Tough represented, it's not even a friend thing. You're outside.
TV channel 112 today. See videos from your favorite artists. The top 10 countdown, AA with Millennium Kid. Test your skills with ZJ Tuffa and more. Also, you can catch repeats of the National Public Speaking Championship Finals all on IKTV 112. Good morning, Pastor. Welcome.
Hey, good morning, Daniel. Trust that you're doing well.
I am apologizing to you now that we don't have your drop. You just give us some time so we can finalize some of those things. We're making some changes.
Building on the construction. Improving to facilitate you. Okay, then I get you.
we're trying to make some improvements.
Yeah, good morning, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I trust that all is well, relatively well. I am pleased to know that when I say this, sometimes when you're being thankful for certain things, you have to be so careful these days, because I really want to say that we are thankful that we got spared from extreme weather. On the weekend there, we were expecting to have a storm. The Prime Minister did address the nation and talked about, getting prepared. And time after time, we go through this where we anticipate that certainly it's going to come our way. And then you wake up on the day and or you go to sleep the night and then you wake up the next morning and it has not come your way. But the thing is, it went somewhere else, and we are in prayer for those that got rained out. Some people water damage and all kind of stuff. So, I mean, we are considerate of others, but I have to say that here in St. Vincent, considering our own vulnerability, I am always glad when we get spared. I mean, we just fixing roads, and you don't want, for there to be landslides and slippage and people losing houses and all of that. So every time we get spared, I am thankful. I hope that that we don't take these things for granted. That is not same old, that we go on with our day without reflecting on the fact that for whatever reason, stuff that could have happened didn't happen. We always are to have that kind of grateful mindset that there are many other things like this that I think we are being spared in St. Vincent. Some who are people of faith put it down to divine purposes. Some who are just not people of faith will find other explanations for it, or it's just luck. But whether or not you are a person of faith or you just put it down to luck or chance, the point is at some point there ought to be some appreciation for the fact that, man, there's some bad stuff that could go down here that are not going down here in this vulnerable place. So I just wanted to say that and get that done.
I agree.
Yeah. So what's churning this morning?
Yes. So, Pastor, I want to get your perspective on lawyers who defend, and I'm sure you know the story of the pastor who allegedly raped the child. You would have seen. I don't think it's allegedly.
Well,
he's guilty, right? He was charged, right? Okay. So first, what's your take on that? Of course, you're a pastor, so I mean, I can't imagine what it's like.
Well, from my take on that is absolutely not going to be a new take. You have heard me say on this radio, and the listeners have heard me say on this radio, that this thing is a crime. I actually said it is worse than murder.
Yes,
I mean, that's how strongly I feel about it. And I say that not from just an emotional perspective, Daniel. And you know me, I think you have listened to me over years, so, and you know me well enough to know that I try to think things through. And because in this matter, you have to give consideration to what I call the victimology. And again, this is the second time I'm making a reference to the victimology of sexual molestation, and particularly the sexual molestation of minors, and because there's wide spectrum of things that can be categorized as sexual molestation, even some of it verbal, some of it just feeling, touching, inappropriate touching, and stuff like that. All of that comes under sexual molestation, but the rape, all right, incest. I'm identifying what I would, from my perspective, to be those that are particularly traumatic: rape and incest, pedophilia, which is a very dastardly thing to happen. The sex and interference with a minor. So those three are real interesting to read the victimology on those. Of course, each write-up has a different nuance, but in general, the sort of post-traumatic stress, the ruin to your life, when you do it to a child in particular, the larger body of psychology and analysis. If you read it, which I have taken my time to read some, although it is not entirely deterministic to say that a child who is molested at the age 5 or age 7 is absolutely bound to turn out in a particular way, sufficient longitudinal research has been done to show a particular trend in behaviors, self-hurt, self-harm, self-doubt, low self-esteem, permissive sexual behavior, it goes suicidal behavior, low achievement in school. It's a ruin to your life, basically. And again, my aim here is not to go through all of the different items in the victimology, but to point out some of the things, the nightmares, the shaking that you come around. Some children, if they were offended by bald-headed men, for the rest of their life, they have a distrust of all bald-headed men. it's a mess. So when you hear me say that it is a crime worse than murder, I mean it, and I think the penalty for this kind of stuff should be a penalty that is harsher than the penalty for murder. This is how strongly I feel about the thing. So without getting emotional, you ask me how I feel about it. It's wickedness to the highest degree.
And how do you feel about lawyers defending those persons who have aspirations to take up public office?
If a lawyer has aspirations to take up public office, is that what you're asking? If he or she should defend?
Yes.
When you purport to or you make that decision to take up public office, you are going to end up into some areas of crossovers and conflicts that might not necessarily gel well or look well for the optics of representing people. In your professional career, in the same way doctors are going to treat people, even if a guy comes in who has been shooting up the neighborhood and he comes in with gunshot wounds, the doctors sign an oath for the care of people, the Hippocratic Oath, and other ethical considerations within their practices that they're going to have to adhere to. So within the profession, you do what you do as a professional, as a psychologist, as a counselor. There's certain ethics of the profession that you will. People come to see me, for example. I know I'm going with this. People come and see me with a wide array of issues that they have. Okay, let me hedge around this, right? Some of the things that people come and see me about are deep and dark, okay, but I don't run them out of my office and stuff, because again, if I'm in what is called the skilled help or the helping professions, and you have pledged to help people, then you want to help people who need help. You don't run them. In the same way, if you're in the if you're in the law and you have signed off on certain things, and particularly in a country where even every accused is, can have a defense and is allowed to have a defense. And that's what lawyers are for. So if that's what you're doing, you do that, okay? And let the court decide if the man is guilty or innocent. Now, that is from the perspective of the lawyer and his lawyer professionals. But from the point of view of representing people, you have to understand that within your constituency, you are likely to have a large percentage of women. Over most places, you have the voting probably is either 50-50 or might even be more women than men. Then what's going to happen when you know that a significant number of these, if we are to go by just raw statistics, as elsewhere, where many women who don't report it have actually been molested in one form or the other, whether verbally, inappropriate touching, or even a few of them in the most violent of ways, they have been molested. You have to bear that in mind, that, that what would my constituents or my potential constituents think of me? This is the kind of man I am, this is the kind of woman I am, I'm going to defend this person for pay. And that's what it's being done for, It's being done for pay. All right? Unless you're doing it pro bono, which I don't know if it is being done pro bono, but I think most of the time it's being done for pay. So how does that sell, and what does the optics of that look like, to somebody who's voting? So you have to consider these things. I'm not calling it as a right or wrong issue in terms of defending somebody who is accused, okay? I'm not doing that. I am discussing it from the point of view of the optics of how it looks.
Right.
When you have that clash that you want to do your job as a lawyer and you want to do your job as a constituency representative, there are going to be times when the optics of one is going to work against the efficacy in the other. And that's what this is.
If faced with a situation like that, what would you have done?
Excuse me?
What would you have done in a situation like that?
I'm not sure. If I were a lawyer?
Yes.
That is a loaded question, simply because
It is?
the highest value I have, and I say this meaningfully, the highest value I have is my Christian principle and what I understand from the Bible. And there's going to be a clash of that with my work as a lawyer. If that's going to ever come into a time of clash and conflict, I know where I'm going to make my decision. There are other lawyers who might not have my biblical bias and my biblical basis. That person is entitled to a defense. They can go to another lawyer. But I have something from the Bible that says, if you or anyone, this is what Christ himself said, it's right there in the writ of God, in the word of God, if you or anyone else hurt one of these little ones. And I was very surprised that Christ used this kind of harsh language. Daniel, I think you know the Bible well enough to know what he said. He said, if you, and he was talking to religious people, if any of you hurt any of these little ones who believe in me, I tell you, it's better that they just take a stone, tie it around his neck, and go drown him somewhere. Now, that is really harsh language for a man of love to use. But such is his passion for children. He says, don't mess with children. It's better they take them and go carry them, tie them up in concrete, and drown them somewhere. Don't mess with the children. So if Christ could speak with such passion about messing with children, that gives me a very, I don't even have to guess, that gives me a very, very clear indication. If Christ is against it and does not defend it, then I have to be against it, and I can't defend it either. So my position is very, very clear based on the statement of Christ where that is concerned.
All right. We have someone on WhatsApp saying something. Okay, Pastor, so I'm going to read it.
Yes, sure.
If a member of pastor's church goes to him and confesses asking forgiveness for such a crime, what would you do?
That's an easy one. That's an easy one. Forgiveness is up to God. Okay? So we don't do confessions and forgiveness. We do skilled help where I walk people through their problem. I have a responsibility, which I have executed time and again, by the way. If those in authority listening know my voice, you know that I have done this time and again. This is not to dissuade people from coming to me, but there are certain in the counseling profession, there are certain occurrences, if they come to you, if you are aware of it, you have to report it.
Okay.
Daniel, I read to you from the Children Care and Adoption Act of 2010, I think it is. The Children Care and Adoption Act of 2010. 2010. And I read a particular thing that said to Daniel, I don't know if you recall, that there's a duty to report. Not just of pastors and all of that, but of other people. If you become aware of any, if a person has any knowledge or reasonable grounds to suspect that a child is in need of care or protection of any circumstance, you're supposed to report it without delay. A person who fails to report commits an offense that is liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $5,000 or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 3 months. So there's what is called a duty to report. And there are other things outside of that. If a child comes to me showing physical abuse, belt beating and all of that kind of stuff, you have a duty to report. And not just the sexual things. You have a duty to report. So while there's confidentiality in counseling, there's also that which is legal, which while you maintain confidentiality, if certain things come before you, you can't cover it up. You have a duty to report. And certainly, to the person who asked the question, I will do the requisite reporting. I will leave the forgiving up to God.
Someone says, is it not written that you must confess to another and ask for forgiveness?
The forgiveness is, and we are all asked to forgive, by the way, in case that person is wondering, but we have to get our theology right. We have to forgive one another. The Bible says forgive one another. And even when people don't ask you to forgive them, you still should extend. The Bible says God will not forgive you if you don't forgive other people. In fact, our Father prayer, which people say, forgive us, Lord, as we forgive others who trespass against us. So we ought to forgive the people who wrong us. But the crime of incest and sexual molestation, while it is a crime against minors and against people, there's also a higher level or a higher order infraction, and it is an absolute disregard for God and God's creation. So not only do you need the forgiveness of others that you have wronged, you also need the forgiveness of God. And I can't, for people who trash God, man or woman or children made in the image of God, that's a grave matter with God. I can't forgive them for that. They have to face God and confess to God their absolute and utter disregard and the sickness that they have done in their act, and they have to ask God for forgiveness. So that person is right. You ask forgiveness of people that you have wronged, but when you come in violation of God's law, you need to ask forgiveness of God also.
And Pastor, this, I think, is he an assistant pastor? I think it is.
Yes, go ahead.
You think that counseling is needed for him?
I've said this and I've said it over and over again. People who commit these kinds of acts, by the way, this is not to excuse, this is just reality. Mm-hmm. In the same way alcoholics drink because they're alcoholics, and people who have, there's a thing called mental sickness. And there's also a thing called preconditioning. Freud and other psychodynamic counselors understand that sometimes children go through abuses of their own in their childhood, and therefore as adults act out these things. There are myriad of reasons why we have pedophiles and other things. Chemical imbalances also produces certain reactions. I don't have time to go through all of that, but what I want to say is when a man does something like this, it is clear that he is not normal. It's abnormal, and frankly speaking, he is sick. He really, really is sick. Something is wrong with him. More often than not, it is mental, but sometimes it's some physical thing, but more often than not, it's mental. That he is sick, and therefore, sick people need help. And if he is sick mentally, then he needs help, the requisite help, in that mental arena. I've said before, however, to clarify, I've said in cases where I've counseled people, not in matters of this, but for example, in matters of intimate partner violence, I've done some counseling in that, where a man is beating his woman. I always counsel for the separation. I don't tolerate that at all. So people listening to me have counseled, you know that is true. You say, yeah, that is true. He doesn't put, I don't keep a woman in a situation where she's abused by a man. I find ways in which I could kind of, where can you go? Where can we put you? Where is safe? All of that. I mean, I don't care if you love of your life or you're married for 10, 15, 20 years. Get out from a situation where you are being beaten. But what I realized too is that it is a sickness in the man while he's doing this, and I've said this on the station before. The guy has to, if he's willing, the guy has to go through a process of counseling, a module, whatever therapy, whatever intervention, whether it's 8 weeks or 10 weeks, he has to go through that. If he shows progress, measurable progress by the end of that period of counseling, then you can have re-entry.
But how do you measure progress for something like that?
You asked me now about testing and indicators and all of that, which is another field of counseling. There are various there are various tests that I have a couple here that I use as indicators. You might be familiar, although this is not primarily a matter of specifics with respect to domestic abuse. One of the tests that I use to get indicators of personality and personal traits is the Myers-Briggs test, which is an extensive test, but there are other similar spin-offs from that I use. There are tendencies towards physical violence. There are tests that will give you that, right? You can do the before and after and see if a guy did this test, And when you're doing those tests, by the way, you have no idea what the indicators are. If I give you a test with 10, 20, 30 questions, you have no idea what the indicators are. So you can't even deliberately say, well, I will answer this because I know what he's looking for. I'll answer that. You just have to answer your best call because you don't know how I'm going to read that. And basically, at the end of the day, you know, if I find that the person, the male, more often than not, is a male. If I find that the male is responding well to the counseling, you know, you might want to do a tentative re-entry. But again, that is to answer the question as to, you asked me if the guy is sick and if he's going to need help. Yeah, people who do these things are sick and they need help. And with the right kind of help, you know, you can avoid a repetition of these occurrences. But that doesn't change the damage that they have done, and they still have to answer for that. But at least you help them from, you know, molesting somebody else. You understand? So, but go ahead.
I just really want to get in one more question, and we're definitely way out of time, but I just want to ask you about something we were discussing earlier concerning quarantine. There is a question of who should really pay for persons who are flying in now and quarantining in hotels, because it's mandatory. Yes, we're asking who should have to pay. Is it fair for these persons to have to travel here and then pay for hotel accommodation as their quarantine?
Daniel, an answer to that question depends on perspective. It really does. It depends on the level at which you want to discuss the question at. If you want to discuss the question from down in the weeds, out of the person's pocket, you know, this person doesn't have an income, or, I mean, look at this person, they could hardly afford to come home, and now you're putting them there to go in hotels. If you discuss it at that level, you get a one kind of answer, frankly speaking, which seemed to evoke a kind of sympathy. Anecdotally, mind you, you know, based from one person to the other, some situations might evoke more sympathy than others, and you will cry and scream, unfair, why should the person have to pay? Or why should I pay out of my taxpayers' money? Because they should know before they went overseas and want to come back home, they should know, they should have canceled their trip. My taxpayers' money should not be used for that. That's one level of arguing that. You'll get one answer, but then if you argue this from a higher order questioning, when I say higher order, from the perspective of a more national perspective, cost benefit to the nation, not cost benefit to the individual, which is what I referred to earlier, but cost benefit to the nation. What does it mean for one person coming in here and not properly quarantined, and to what extent should the government go all out to ensure whether the person has the money or not becomes irrelevant? To what extreme should the government go to make sure that everyone who is coming in here is quarantined in such a way that they're not let loose in the population to push the spread of the COVID? The government has to take all of the measures, and even if it means dipping into the tax dollars and doing it, the government has to do that, because there's a higher principle. How much is the health of the nation worth? And I mean, look at the comparative analysis. The government is using your same tax dollars to do many other things. And I think that using the tax dollars to protect the nation, if it comes to that, it is a much more commendable thing to do than, I could give you 5 other things that can be done with tax dollars, but I won't. But I think it's a much more commendable thing to protect the nation and to keep in check the spread of COVID by quarantining people and doing it responsibly. If the government is utilizing tax dollars to do that, I think that is highly commendable. I'm not sure that they will go in that direction, but I am saying if it comes to it, I won't have an argument. Frankly speaking, how much of a choice anyway do I have about the expenditure over my tax dollars? I don't know. It is not a personal thing anymore when someone pays tax, okay? X person X or person Y or person Z. When you pay tax, it's not a personal thing anymore. Your money has gone into the government coffers. It now becomes the nation's funds to be expended in ways in which those in government see fit. And I actually think that the protection of the nation is a priority thing, and therefore quite worthy of the expenditure of tax dollars if it comes to it.
All right, Pastor, thank you. We appreciate your opinion always.
Thank you, Daniel.
Have a great day, okay?
Blessed day to everyone. Bye.
All right. I'm going to do this real quick and come back to sign off from OMG.
This is Hans John representing for Boom 106.9. The time is now drawing the evolution.
Don't lock me up, I'm begging you. If I drink and drop, tumbling down, passing top.
Them know we have to take over.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company. Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
The Love Zone.
The best R&B jams, period.
Hear it on Boom 1069.
On point, dropping shade and setting the trends.
You drinking the haterade.
It's the Shade Room with Jill and DJ Shady. DJ on the Evolution Station. Boom 1069.
OMG crew. Hopefully Bing will be feeling better and he'll be back with us tomorrow. I apologize again. He had to step out there for a bit. He wasn't feeling too well, all right? He's going to be well rested and back with us tomorrow. Fingers crossed, everyone. Fingers crossed. I am especially crossing my fingers. That's my friend. I want him to be feeling well and healthy. All right, coming up next is Jill and Shady. They've got you covered inside the Shade Room. Remember to keep it locked on to Boom 1069 all day long. Please, whatever you do today, continue to stay safe, SVG, and we hope that you have a good one.
We serving you up the #1 morning show.